Ok, tai senai pažiūrėjom Romaną. Romaną senai pažiūrėjom. Ir kaip įdomiai kokią temą kaip tik. Jis dabar išsikraustė į Portugaliją, jo gyvena, ten žiūrėjau tos video, bet pagaliau rinkimai baigęs, galim pažiūrėti. Romanas. It's over for Russian streamers. Dabar kiek aš žinau, kažkas jo su Twitch streameriais buvo, kad į kalėjimą pasadino vieną. Ar kažką tokio? Ar ir Lietuvoje to laukia?
On this channel in the past, I've already talked about how the Russian justice system is an absolute joke. And in today's video, we're gonna look at a very obvious example of it. I would like you guys to take a look at these two people that you're seeing on screen right now. Both of them are Twitch streamers that actually got in trouble with the government for the things that they did on their stream. And both of them have been sentenced to 6 years of prison in Russia. And if you guys followed my channel long enough, you probably already know what the trick is here. The difference between these two streamers is that this guy right here is an actual little murderer who quite literally killed somebody during a live stream because his donations were asking for it. And what this girl did is that she has had some opinions that differ from those of the Russian governments. Hey there guys, it is your boy Roman, your favorite neighborhood Russian, and in today's video...
Romanas youtuberis, rusas, kuris išsikraustė iš Rusijos ir kritikuoja realiai Rusiją nuo pat ten belinkiek laiko. Dabar gyvena Portugalijos, nomad visa ar kažkaip ten taip.
We are going to be taking a look at how Russia cracks down on free speech online, and also want to just show you guys why I specifically avoid returning back to Russia. So this story right here went pretty viral recently on the internet, on Twitter, etc., where a Russian Twitch streamer was sentenced to more than 5 years in prison for criticizing the invasion of Ukraine. Now, I don't know why this story in particular was so interesting for Westerners. There's already been countless and countless online personalities, influencers, since 2022 when the full-on war started. I don't know, maybe the story went viral because it's a Twitch streamer and a girl. But essentially, yes, what happened recently is that a Russian streamer, Anna Bazhutova, also known by her streamer name Yokobovich, has been sentenced to 5.5 years in prison in Russia for Russia's favorite felony right now, the discreditation of armed forces of Russia. Now, supposedly at a certain point in 2022 or 23, Anna actually left Russia, but then in late 2023 ended up coming back for whatever reason, and essentially she was immediately arrested, was detained, and immediately was charged with this felony of discrediting the Russian army. Now, here's where we run into a bit of a hard part, because once again, guys, I would like to stay out of prison myself, so
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble, and I don't want to be in big trouble.
I'm gonna have to walk around it for a little bit, but Anna essentially got sentenced for speaking out about the events that transpired in Bucha on her live stream. Yes, and that's the only way I'll be describing the...
Ai, beje, čia unrelated, kažkas Discord'e rašė, kad reikia kažkada streamo kalbėti apie santykius. Tai lauksiu pasiūlymų arba kas norėsi sudalyvauti šitoj temoj apie santykius. Nes pasakė, taigi Twitch'e yra visi virginai, tai kažkuria diena gal jeigu nežinau apie ką kalbėsi, tai galėsim padaryti, jeigu norėsit apie santykius kalbėsim, bus labiausiai cringe streamas ever.
These events that, you know, may have or may have not transpired. And the only reason why I'm saying all of this is because, once again, right now, essentially in Russia, if you question the line of the party, the line of the government, the line of the propaganda about the official story of what has been happening during the special military operation, right? If you speak out about your opposition to the war, etc., these are all things that could get you in danger. However, the most dangerous thing that a Russian citizen can do is talk about these, once again, events in Bucha that I've never heard of. I don't know what they're talking about. What happened with Anna apparently is that during her live stream, she spoke out her thoughts on this issue, and she criticized the Russian soldiers and Russian army, rights, and Russia being the freest country in the world with no wokeness and cancel culture. What Russia did is that it sentenced Anna to 5.5 years in prison. So, and yes, she's currently 30 years old, so that means she'll be out by 36. So yes, absolutely fucking ridiculous, but at this point, nothing new for me as a person who looks at what's going on in Russia. I've recently made a video not that long ago talking about how even outside of Russia, it can be not safe for Russians to speak out. I talked about the case of a Russian citizen in Canada who also talked about the exact same events publicly and was also charged with the exact same...
Čia yra tai, ko Vaitkus nori, kad jis galėtų kritikus 5,5 metams sodinti, taigi...
crime, and she was actually having trouble obtaining Canadian citizenship because of this felony she had in Russia. So yes, it is absolutely insane, it is absolutely soul-crushing, it is super fucked up. However, at this point, you guys are not surprised by the terrible sentences Russia gives out to people. The real stinger is this part right here, because I'd like to compare this situation to another one that happened in Russia not that long ago, with the infamous streamer Stas Reshetnikov, also known as Reflay. Now, if you follow my channel for a while, you also might be familiar with this, but basically, a few years ago I made a video about the so-called Russian trash streamers, which is a sort of a live stream culture in Russia where people basically stream their degeneracy, they get drunk, they do drugs, they do all sort of embarrassing challenges for money, just, you know, pushing the envelope as far as anybody can go. One live streamer from Russia that's been going viral recently from this kind of community is Melstroy. You may have heard of this guy, but basically, I'm talking about this story right here, which happened in December of 2020, where essentially this genius right here, Stas Panini, Reflay, was live streaming with his pregnant girlfriend at the time, or ex-girlfriend supposedly, right? And these two have already had a rough history. There's been footage of him beating her on streams and stuff like that. But long story short, what happened is that during one of the live streams, this Russian man, Stas, was very drunk or whatever, and supposedly this girlfriend of his was also drunk and he couldn't wake her up or something like that. So what he decided to do, or if I'm not mistaken, it might have been one of his donators that actually suggested the idea. Basically what this man did is that he locked his pregnant girlfriend outside on a balcony during winter in...
Mes apie tą darėm React, kaip vadinosi, ar aš pamenu? Blet, buvo geras video šiaip. Ne, va kaip vadinosi? Karalius youtuberiai. Ne Lietuvos ten youtuberiai buvo. Blemba, šitaip neranda. Nepamenu, kaip vadinosi tas... Darėm ir seriją Lietuvos youtuberiai 1, 3, 2, 3, bet ten buvo tiesiog apskritai pasaulio. Gal tai pras keywordai. Nepamenu, kaip vadinosi tas video. Kur realiai labai daug tokių aptarėm ir tavo čiuvaką, kur užmušė savo tą draugę realiai. Kur ten visiškai, ten buvo ir lietuvių, buvo visokių miksas. Ne, nerandu taip. Ne, nesvarbu, dabar nerandu. Anyway, bet blemba jo su tais... Rusų streameriais, tai ten visiška degradacija iš tikrųjų. Ten yra buvę ir Twitch, ir visur, kurie ten taisyklės apinėja laikinai ten streamina, tai ir nu ten unhinged būna, kur ten visiškas trešas rusai. Visą laiką, be išimties ten rusai buvo. Ten arba pijokauja belinkiek, arba smurtauja, arba ten belenkokiais šlikščiais užsiema, ten kolbanus gauna visą laiką rusai. Tai kai ten kalba apie tą ruskį mir, rusišką kultūrą, žiauriai neįtikėtinai yra. Kai net nesupranta, kom rusai garsėja, kokį tą ruskį mirį pasaulyje skleidžia, ten neįtikėtina degradacija buvo.
Russia. So as you guys might imagine, it gets pretty cold. And yes, the story does not have a good ending. Once again...
Tai užmušė ar sušalo balkonę. Tai jeigu tu nunešiai girtą savo draugę, nešiai balkoną ir jinai sušalo ir miršta, tu ją užmušiai. Nedaina šitas, ne?
Girl ended up dying to hypothermia, essentially, right? And during the stream itself, you can also see him dragging her lifeless body out and like trying to wake her up, and also him calling the ambulance, and when the ambulance comes in, he's like crying, and it's fucking ridiculous. I mean, this guy's absolute scum, just the bottom of the fucking barrel. But basically, this story got obviously pretty big in Russia, and this guy actually got sentenced to 6 years in Russia for manslaughter, so seems fair maybe, right? Well, again, guys, let's think about the fact that we just talked about a story where a young Russian woman was sentenced to 6 years in prison for essentially an opinion, essentially for a statement or a couple of words, right? But also...
Bet tai nėra tas pats, kas literaliai sumušt iki mirties savo nešę merginą. O kas sakė iš vis kažką apie sumušimą? Ai, tavo šizofrenija galvoja tau vaidenas. Ai, sorry tada, negaliu niekom padėti.
Also, at the same time, guys, we have a situation here where another streamer, person in the same, you know, profession, from the same walk of life, he also...
Nu, užmušė, taip. O iš kur atsirado sumušė? užmušti žmogų gali nušaunant jį arba uždarant balkonę, kai sušaltų. Bet pas tave galvoj, tupoj, kažkaip atsirado žodis sumušė ir tu sujungiai, kad užmušimas lygų tai kai sumuša ir tada man prisiprota, kad aš kažką neteisingai pasakiau, nes tau vaidenas. Tai gal reikia nustoti rašyti tiesiog ir viskas.
Did a terrible thing on his live stream, right? Well, except the thing that he did was actually fucking terrible and abysmal, which was...
Ne, tu rašai non-stop, tu nesupranti, kas vyksta, lietuvių kalbos nemoki, žodžiai vaidenas ir tu non-stop rašai.
Murdering somebody
Why?
who was pregnant with a child, 6 years in prison, right? Meanwhile, once again...
Dar suprasčiau, būtų bent biškai racionalu, bet kurį teiginį, žodžius, nesuprantant apie ką kalba vyksta half the fucking time, kiek galima.
Statements or an opinion about an issue that does not coincide with the official version of the Russian propaganda and, you know, the official Russian governmental version, also 6 years in prison. Yes, I can totally see how the justice system in this country and the sentences and just overall how laws work in this country, I find it fascinating that certain governmental officials or, for example, propaganda heads can literally go on live television and literally say the most genocidal things about Russian people. Not even talking about Ukrainians or whatever. These people are going out there and saying that, you know, all Russians who don't like Putin essentially need to be killed and sent to the camps or whatever. That was like an actual thing one of Russian officials said on TV. Nothing. That's not hate speech. That's like not in any way dangerous to society. Not at all. However, if you have something to say once again about this event in history, and if your version does not coincide with the Russian government, so once again, 6 fucking years in prison. That makes a lot of sense. Yes, great fucking country. And also, by far, by the way, guys, my favorite part about all of this is that this dude right here, the one that killed his girlfriend on stream, he's already not even in jail anymore. He's not even in prison. He's actually now out. Here I am on this news article. Essentially, he's been let out from the penal colony on the basis of his good behavior and that he has, he feels remorse for what happens and that he basically did great work in the colony. And essentially, this happened in February of 2024, by the way. So he's been out since February of 2024. And now essentially what he has to do is that he has to spend 2 years and 10 months basically doing community service. So, yes, once again, guys, the guy killed his fucking girlfriend on stream, and he's also a person that has shown like signs of being a violent person in the past, right? Like, this guy's pretty fucked up. He basically only ended up spending 3 years in prison, and now for the rest of his 3 years, he's gonna be out doing community service. Is that going to be an option for Anna, the person who got jailed for wars? I don't know. For some reason, I really don't think so. And it feels like the only way Anna would be released from prison before her time is if, you know, there's significant changes in Russia. So yes, guys, what can I say? I fucking love being a citizen of this country. I fucking love it. I definitely enjoy a country where murder and words hold the same weight and can get you in prison for the same amount of time. Well, actually, should I even say your words could send you to a prison for a bigger amount of time than if you actually killed somebody. That's like unironically fucking what it's like. And here's the thing, guys. This is one of the reasons why I essentially don't want to come back or live in Russia right now under this regime, because I don't want to play gamble with my life and freedom. Especially in the current times where you can basically get jailed by anybody at any second for pretty much anything. I mean, if you guys want to understand how ridiculous it is, there's already countless stories coming out of Russia right now where people have been getting busted and fined or even potentially jailed for private conversations that have been overheard by somebody else and have been reported to the police. So in 2023 there was a case like this in this...
Taip, Sovietų Sąjungoje nebuvo? Kad tipo kažkas nugirdo kažką, kaimynai nugirdo, ką tu ten pasakei, paskundė ir tada pas tai prisistato pasiaiškint. Taip ir buvo.
City of Krasnodar, where a couple was fined for expressing some anti-war opinions in a public cafe and somebody overheard it or whatever and called the cops. We also have a case currently going on in Russia where a 68-year-old doctor...
Blemo, kaip mes toli nuėjome, eina savo iš yra per 3 metų nuo tokios kultūros, dar iki dabar ten sako, kodėl ten lietuvis su kaimynais ir šiaip netoks patiklus žmogus yra realiai jo, kai literally bet kas gali paskūsti, tipo, damn. Jo, tako per meną ir sakau jo, kad bet kiek mes tolinėm per 3 metų eina savo. Realiai net viena karta tik pasikeitė. Tipo, nežinau, kiek skaitos karta, gal dabar jau skaitos antra karta, nežinau. Bet tipo, techniškai dar gyvi tie žmonės, kurie Sovietų Sąjungoje gyvena, tipo, jau vyresnis, senybė dar gyvi. Tipo, nu realiai viena karta užauga. Čia niekis yra, o jau taip toli nuėjom. Plemba. Jeigu dar mes saugiai čia pagyvensim, kas, manau, taip ir bus, dar 3 metų. 15-2 per generation, nu tai gal antrą kartą čia, nu kaip žiūrėsi, jo, aš nežinau, kaip tiksliai ten matuojas tos kartos, bet realiai, kaip drastiškai bus pasikeitus visuomenė ten po, tarkim, dar 30 metų. Tam, jau Sovietų sąjungoje ne vienas nebus jau gyvas, kur gyveno Sovietų sąjungoje, pajo, nebent kaip aš eigęs, jeigu aš po 30 metų dar kažkaip išgyvensiu, šiam 7 bus ir tipo, aš jau ne Sovietų sąjungoje kaip ir augau, tai net aš jau nebesiskaitysiu. Nu, tarkim, bet jo, bet aš jo neaugau, tipo aš nieko to kaip nelabai, I guess. Nu, tipo, bus dar jo apie 8 metų, tarkim, kur užaugo jo, tipo. Bet jau mažytė mažuma greičiausiai, kiek jų, nežinau. Damn. Kaip drastiškai bus pasikeitę. Jau dabar, blemba, belenkai pasikeitė. Ta nauja karta auga, vakarietiški žmonės, tipo, visiškai kita kultūra, kitas pasaulis. Jų vaikai ir dar tų vaikų vaikai. Čia, yeah.
Nadezhda Buyanova is currently essentially being charged with the exact same crime of discrediting the armed forces of Russia for, once again, a private conversation that nobody even knows really happens. Basically, the story goes as follows. Supposedly, this lady, Nadezhda, had somebody over for a checkup, and supposedly the lady told her that her husband has been killed in Ukraine as a soldier, and allegedly, Nadezhda Buyanova said that your husband was actually like a legal target for the Ukrainian military, something like that, right? Supposedly she said that, and that is what this lady is accusing the doctor of. However, there's like no proof of anything. The entire case is basically completely fucking made up. There is no audio, video proof or anything. All we have basically is just the testimony of this lady that is accusing this doctor, and yeah, what can I say, guys? Great. Russia is currently going through a bit of a crisis with medical workers, and it makes total sense that we should jail our medical workers, especially those who are 68 years old, you know, who have like spent their entire fucking life serving the people of Russia, working for minimum fucking wage in these dog shit hospitals. The doctors in Russia, like, they deserve each one of them deserves a fucking medal for the shit that they put up with and for the money that they make. My grandma is actually a pediatrician and a doctor who spent all of her life working in the hospital, basically kind of like this lady. So my fucking grandma could be in the place of this lady, okay? So no, I just really don't enjoy the idea of living in a country where you can essentially look at a person the wrong fucking way, or they could be having a bad day or some bullshit, and they could just make up whatever fucking nonsense about you. And since Russia right now is very, you know, the cops in Russia are just very excited about the amounts of arrests they can make, the judges are excited about the amounts of closed cases, because like I've already said before, in Russia the police basically works to have a certain quota of arrests. The more people you arrest, essentially, the more closed cases you have, the better your career prospects as a cop. Same is pretty much happening with the judges, and the conviction rate in Russia is like 99.9% or some bullshit. So yeah, guys, fuck this. Honestly, fuck this. This is the reason why I am personally staying away from Russia for the foreseeable future. I don't know how long it's gonna take. I don't know if anything is gonna change, but basically all I know is that these stories are fucking ridiculous, and I have like zero interest in becoming a statistic. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about the
case. Sentimentas tas ir yra realiai, netgi Reddit'e ten kur nors skaitant, nu čia tas tarp žmonių, kurie, žinai, pasaulyje gyvena ir rašo koks nors rusai, žinai. Nu aš niekada negrįšiu į Rusiją, sako. Čia skant. Tipo, žinai, esi kažkada 5 eurų kažkam netam davęs, kur net nežinai, tau grėsmė, žinai. Kažką pasakysi, tau grėsmė. Tu atvažiuoji į Rusiją, netgi jeigu rusas esi, ir tu gali neišvažiuoti, blėt. Tiesiog sako, nu, fuck that, I guess aš taip niekada nebegrįšiu, net jeigu turėjau ten planų ar kažką, ir tokie komentarai, žinai, Reddit'e yra tokių, dabar klausimas, kiek, žinai, atspindi, nu, bet yra dalis žmonių, vat, kaip Romanas, jauni žmonės, kurie gal Rusijoje užaugo, rusai yra, jie niekada negrįš į Rusiją. Nes yra per rizikinga. Nebent grinai subirėtų valdžia ten keistus tragiškai, nu, tipo visiškai reformuotus, tipo kažkokiu. Tada gal vieną dieną atvarytų pažiūrėti. O tipo jo, jie susinaikino, tipo tą visą, daug išvyko jaunų bright people, kai kurie pasiliko, aišku, bet daug, žinai, išvyko, jie didžioji dauguma greičiausiai niekada nebegrįš. Teks skyrių žmonės, tikrai tas smegenų, kaip ten brain drain, kur smegenų tas nuotykis, kur kaip jie ten kalba. Jie niekada negrįš į Rusiją. Ko jiems grįžti į Rusiją, jeigu jau kitur pradėjo gyventi? Gal vienas kitas, jeigu santvarka ten pasikeis, bet jo, rusam čia yra didžiulis minusas ir to rezultatai pasijus po 5-10 metų turbūt, taip ten kažkaip sako, kad, tai užima laiko, žinai, tos inovacijos, kurios ateitų, bet neteina tada.
Cases of Reflay and Jokabovic and what happened to them. Indeed, it's a very sad state that my country is in right now, but yeah, guys, I'm still here, still making content. I don't know. I don't really have a positive way to end this video. It's just doom and gloom, and I wanna die. Anyways, guys, that being said, if you did enjoy today's video, then please make sure to slap the like on this channel, and as well, guys, if you would like to support this channel additionally, because I do get demonetized on this channel, I do get issues with sponsors because of the political nature of the content, so if you guys...
Kremlin found the solution? Kaip garsiai, what the fuck? Nah. Russia-China relations. Paste. Užsisakyk rusišką žmoną. Tiesiai. Aha, gerai, supratau. Kiek mes tai... O, mes valandą turim. O, davai pasižiūrim iš Operation Breakthrough porą video. Čia True reklama. Tai aš ir galvoju, kad True reklama ne tik atrodė biškai gal senoka, ne? Bet, palauk, kada čia buvo? Ai, čia tiesiog įrašas toks. 1 year ago, I guess, senoka. Bet jo, goddamm. Kaip jūsų santykiai su Tinderiais ir dating appsais? Randat ten kiniečių ar rusų?
Koks vakaras ilgas, kaip širdį man gelia. Nuskink man jazminą.